Our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur is still with us. Dharamjot Kaur, is there any latest update from you?
A lot of tribute is pouring in. Social media is full with tweets and public messages from top political leaders across party lines. We have Trinamool Congress chief and West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee tweeting about how Prime Minister Modi's wisdom was unquestionable. We have India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh tweeting that he is deeply saddened by the demise of Dr. Singh, who played a key role in building India's economy during difficult times. Eric, I have to point out over here, during his last press conference in 2014, just as he was ending his term as Prime Minister, Dr. Singh had said, and I'm quoting him here, "I honestly believe that history will be kinder to me than the contemporary media, or for that matter, the opposition parties in Parliament." Just minutes into news of his demise, and I think we're seeing history already be kinder to him, Eric. I think that is how I would frame it.
All right. Dharamjot Kaur is our correspondent. Dharamjot, stay with me. We also have R.K. Upadhyay, who's a senior journalist, with me. But reactions are pouring in from ministers and leaders in India after the demise of former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Let's listen to what Shashi Tharoor has to say.
It's a very tragic development. All of us are in mourning. He was a great Prime Minister who served the nation as Prime Minister, Finance Minister. He was somebody who was a visionary, who did a great deal for the country. And we are all cancelling the very elaborate programs planned here and rushing back to Delhi, most of us. So I think it'll be cancelled. It's not for me to announce. The government of Karnataka will announce. But for me, I have to get back now and see
I think it's a huge loss for the country. And his contribution was immense, which can never be forgotten. I think country should always be, countrymen will always be indebted to Dr. Manmohan Singh, who had not only brought economic reforms to the country, but in 10 years as Prime Minister and 5 years as Finance Minister, he brought many changes, not only in Indian economy, but also in governance, which will always be remembered.
Well, we've heard from Shashi Tharoor and Rajiv Shukla, who's the member of the Rajya Sabha, who are expressing their loss following the demise of former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. R.K. Upadhyay is a senior journalist. R.K., what happens now? What happens from here now that India is facing this huge loss? What are the government plans that will be taking place in the next coming days?
Well, I think he will be given a very fitting tribute by the current dispensation, because he was a non-controversial person and he was very much liked across the country. And, he came from a minority community, that's the Sikhs community. And that's one of the beauties of, Indian democracy, that someone coming from a very, very minority community of less than 2% could become the Prime Minister of this country. I think one of the regrets that Dr. Manmohan Singh had was, he was never elected directly by the people. He always got elected through the Rajya Sabha, which is the House of Elders. That's an indirect election to the parliament. And he did contest a couple of times, but he could not succeed in those elections. But it did not in any way, reduce his importance in administration, nor people liking him. And he was one of those, who could carry everybody along. And he worked perfectly well with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. And she looked after the party, the Congress party, and he after the administration. So they had a very good understanding between the two. And that's one of the main reasons why for 10 long years they were able to give a very stable government for India.
R.K. Upadhyay is a senior journalist. R.K., stay with me. Dharamjot Kaur is our correspondent. Dharamjot Kaur, these are the tweets we are receiving in our newsroom. We've had the tweet that you read out from the Prime Minister. Maybe you can read it again for our viewers, or some of the tweets that you are receiving on your end.
Well, Eric, a lot of tweets are coming in by this second as we speak right now. The Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has tweeted about Dr. Singh's demise, also talking about Dr. Singh's illustrious career as former Prime Minister and as a distinguished economist who transformed India's economic landscape. Dr. Singh, as you also rightly mentioned, was a Padma Vibhushan awardee and an architect of India's economic liberalization in 1991. A lot of other tweets pouring in also from India's Home Minister Amit Shah, who has also tweeted about being deeply saddened by Dr. Singh's demise. And the common thing, Eric, in all of these tweets are that, everybody is talking about how Dr. Singh has been a visionary, and as a major economic and social reformer. Also the Congress President, Mallikarjun Kharge, who's tweeted about his own personal history and camaraderie with Dr. Singh. As I mentioned before, Mr. Kharge has also tweeted the same thing. Undoubtedly, history will judge you kindly, Dr. Manmohan Singh. I mourn the loss of a lifelong senior colleague, a gentle intellectual and a humble soul who embodied the aspirations of India, have risen through the ranks with unwavering dedication. And Mr. Kharge continues to say, he goes on to say that I am proud to have been a part of his cabinet as Labour Minister, Railway Minister, and Social Welfare Minister. A man of action rather than words, his immense contribution to nation building will forever be etched in the annals of Indian history. So, as I mentioned, Eric, so many tweets that are coming in. As we've been saying, indeed, history is being kinder to Dr. Singh than it has been before. Also, as we speak, updates that are coming in, Eric, the Congress party has decided to cancel its meeting that was scheduled to be held in Karnataka tomorrow. The Congress party is currently chairing the Congress Working Committee meeting in Karnataka's Belagavi, and given the development, given Dr. Singh's demise, the party has decided to not hold the meeting tomorrow. A lot of senior leaders, as we discussed before, are coming to AIIMS to pay their tribute. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is already there. A lot of other senior Congress leaders. India's Health Minister J.P. Nadda is also present over there. And for leaders who are not present, their tributes are continuously pouring in on social media platform X, formerly Twitter. As I just read them out to you, Eric, across party lines, across decades, whether a politician is young, whether it's senior, a lot of heartfelt tribute pouring in, and everybody's talking about the same thing, about how Dr. Singh was one of the most revered social reformers and economists that India has lost today.
Dharamjot Kaur is our correspondent. Dharamjot Kaur, I'll give you a moment just to get us more updates. If you're just joining us, this is breaking news or developing story from India. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh passed away at the age of 92 at New Delhi's All India Institute of Medical Sciences. 92-year-old Manmohan Singh was brought to the emergency department of the hospital after his health deteriorated at around 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. His office was quoted as saying the former Prime Minister was facing extreme breathlessness and had been shifted to the ICU. His family members and senior Congress leaders, including Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, were among the first to reach the hospital. Manmohan Singh's political career began as the country's finance minister in the government headed by P.V. Narasimha Rao during 1991 to 1996, when he brought in sweeping reforms that transformed the economy. As the two-term Prime Minister of the UPA 1 and UPA 2, he stayed at the top post from 2004 to 2014, serving 2 terms, and served as a member of the Rajya Sabha till early this year in April. He retired from the Rajya Sabha in April of this year. R.K. Upadhyay is a senior journalist. Mr. R.K., how would you remember his time post-premiership?
I think he has been very quiet and very obscure in the sense he was not taking much of a public appearances. Also because of his health, I think health issues came in the way. And after 2014, he almost quietly retired. Though he did make some critical remarks about the economic policies followed by the Modi government. Occasionally he did that, but he was a non-aggressive politician. I mean, in a sense, he wasn't really a politician who was just came into politics, much later. He was more of a bureaucrat, who was made the prime minister and then led the country. So he didn't really have much of a role after his retirement. But I mean, going back to his prime ministership, he had a difficult time trying to explain to the Sikh community from which he hailed, about the attack on the Golden Temple, which was the most sacred place for the Sikhs. I remember during Mrs. Indira Gandhi's prime ministership, one militant or terrorist by name Bhindranwale had taken refuge in the Golden Temple, and she had to use the army to really get him out. And there was a lot of bloodshed spread at that time. And after Manmohan Singh became prime minister, there was a lot of demand that he should apologize to the country for what the Congress party had done. And he did that after a while, and then he went to the Golden Temple and paid his obeisance at the temple. But that was one of the the black marks that the Sikh community carried, and he also had to face a little bit of flack because of that.
Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, stay with me. He's a senior journalist. We are still talking about the passing of the 13th Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, who just passed away at the age of 92. So many people have described him as one of the world's most revered leaders and a man of uncommon decency and grace. Let's just listen into some of the politicians who are remembering the former Prime Minister, beginning with Shashi Tharoor.
It's a very tragic development. All of us are in mourning. He was a great Prime Minister who served the nation as Prime Minister, Finance Minister. He was somebody who was a visionary, who did a great deal for the country. And we are all cancelling the very elaborate programs planned here and rushing back to Delhi, most of us. So I think it'll be cancelled. I mean, it's not for me to announce. The government of Karnataka will announce. But for me, I have to get back now and see the...
I think it's a huge loss for the country. And his contribution was immense, which can never be forgotten. I think countrymen will always be indebted to Dr. Manmohan Singh, who had not only brought economic reforms to the country, but in 10 years as Prime Minister and 5 years as Finance Minister, he brought many changes, not only in Indian economy, but also in governance, which will always be remembered.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.